Hey guys, welcome to Outlaw Edge Blade Works. So I was messing around out in the garage and I was checking out some books and I was thinking about some of the best books that I've read. So these are 5-star books that I've read. I like survival, bushcraft stories, and true life, fiction, whatever. But I also like camping, fishing, hiking. I don't hunt, but I read a lot of hunting books and stuff. Kayaking, canoeing, and I hope I'm not boring you guys, but this is just a quick video. I wanted to recommend some really good books to you. So these are all my 5-star books, and I only have a couple of them. So Call of the Wild, My Escape to Alaska by Guy Grieve. This is an excellent story about a guy that I believe he lives in Sweden. He takes a year off from his life, moves to Alaska, builds a log cabin, gets attacked by moose and falls through the ice, all kinds of crazy stuff. And excellent book. Really like this book. I've read this about probably 6 times, I believe now. And it's one of those that you pick it up, you can't put it down. And that's the books, the 5 stars that I'm talking about tonight. This is a very controversial book, Into the Wild. John Krakauer, and it's about Christopher McCandless. He dies and eats the wrong plant. He hikes to Alaska. Crazy. The whole story about his whole life, the way it unfolds and how it ends and everything. It's a really good book though. And he's trying to find his place, and I really liked it. And I've read this one probably 5 or 6 times too. Excellent book. There's also a movie, Into the Wild, that's really good. I liked it too. But One Man's Wilderness, An Alaskan Odyssey, and this is Dick Preneggy, and I believe that's how you say his name. I've heard it pronounced many different ways. But they have part 1 and part 2 of his movies, and One Man's Wilderness book, 5-star, excellent book. I've read this probably 20 times. I actually have this book because I gave the other one. Actually, I had 2 other ones that I gave away, and this is my 3rd copy of this book. And it has a little bit different cover and stuff, but this has been such a good book that I've read it so many times. I love it. And it's about an old man that builds a log cabin in Alaska, and ends up going back every year and staying a year, and then pretty soon he just ends up living out there for a while. And for like 30 years he does this, and it's amazing all the stuff that happens to him. And he's very talented. All the skills that he has out in the woods and whatever. Highly recommended. Now this one takes place in my area. This is The Mad Trapper of Rat River. It's a true story of Canada's biggest manhunt, and it's by Dick North. And there's some fictionist parts in here. I believe this is a true story, but the way some of it unfolds in the story, there's no way this guy could have went through all that. But I mean, maybe he did, and maybe he's like a superhero, Excellent book. I've read this one 3 or 4 times and just love it. Lost in the Wild by Carrie J. Griffith. And this also takes place in the North Woods in my area. And this is actually, I believe it was 3 stories in here in this book, and they're all together where they talk about, this guy's in this area, but this is going on, and another guy's in another area and this is going on, but they kind of run you through the stories. And really good book. I loved it. A lot of details and just the stuff these people went through. And if they would have just had simple things with them, like a compass, some matches, a lighter, a knife, anything like that, they would have been just camping instead of being in a survival situation. But excellent book. Now these 2 books, this has got to be one of my favorite books, and the next one that I'm going to show you, these have got to be my favorite books I've ever read, and I've probably read this one 15 times. The Last Season by Eric Blem. And this is about Yosemite in California, Yosemite National Parks ranger. And I'm not going to ruin the story for you guys, but I highly recommend this book. It's amazing, the stuff the guy goes through and what happens to him and where he ends up and all this good stuff. Can't say enough about this book. Awesome. Now this book, one of my all-time favorites, 5-star, Indian Creek Chronicles, and this is Pete Fromm. This is about a college student that they ask him, can you take care of these salmon in the Sawtooth, Idaho mountains? And he takes the job. He gets there, kind of a college kid, nerdy, not knowing what to do, stuck out in the woods. And they're like, you know, we'll be back later, and you just do your job. They leave this kid there for 11 months. And the stuff that happens to him is this story. I loved it. It's one of those that you can't put the book down. And I literally have. I've sat in one night and read this whole book. And, you know, I've probably read this one, same thing. I've probably read it 10 or 12 times. It's one of my favorites. Highly recommended. Anyways, hope I didn't bore you guys. And I'm going to get out of here. Please check out my girlfriend's website, mnoutlaw.customs.com. Thanks a lot.